Marvel Cinematic Universe. Once a world all want it to be, whether it be the Dark Universe, the DCU, or the Monsterverse. Now a world comparable to a fallen empire. Now don't get me wrong, Marvel has had a lot of wins like Loki, No Way Home, and most recently Deadpool and Wolverine. The only problem is they're all comic projects that rely on the multiverse as something new and something that allows for cameos to help them be billion-dollar movies or successful shows. Now obviously there's also Shang-Chi and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but you can really tell that they're leaning in on this multiverse premise. The scary part is how many more of these comic projects does Marvel have in their bag? They have Fantastic Four that will end up being a multiverse movie, Avengers Doomsday that will be a multiverse movie, and Avengers Secret Wars that will be the multiverse movie. There is another movie that we've been wondering for a while though, if it would be another gimmick film and another multiverse movie with Spider-Man 4. For a while we were being told this would finally be Tom Holland's grounded Spider-Man movie in New York, where he would team up with Daredevil to take on the Kingpin. I actually made a video a while ago on my ideal trilogy for Tom Holland's next 3 Spider-Man movies that actually is close to this idea, with the first film being against Scorpion and Venom, the second against Kingpin and Kraven, and the third against the Sinister Six led by Hobgoblin, so I recommend you all check it out. However, I sadly don't think this will happen anymore, as reports are now claiming Spider-Man 4 will be another multiverse story. There have been these rumors for a while, but ever since we were revealed that Avengers the Kang Dynasty had been replaced with Avengers Doomsday at Comic-Con earlier this year, somebody realized this meant Spider-Man 4 was actually set to come out between Doomsday and Secret Wars. Just for reference, Secret Wars is a comic storyline where all universes merge to become one Battleworld, and Doctor Doom is a major player in that story. Because of that, it's assumed Avengers Doomsday will close out with Doctor Doom, played by Robert Downey Jr., creating Battleworld. If that's the case, and Spider-Man 4, which comes out between the two movies, takes place between the two movies, then Spider-Man 4 must be a multiversal movie, taking place on Battleworld. So, it's pretty much all but confirmed Spider-Man 4 will be a multiverse movie. But I know what you're thinking. Why is this video's title saying Spider-Man 4 is actually just Kang Dynasty wearing a new mask? Well, that theory comes with news we received earlier this week of who will direct Spider-Man 4. Destin Daniel Crettin, director of Shang-Chi, and of the Wonder Man series set to come out in 2025. Most importantly though, he was the director of the now cancelled Avengers the Kang Dynasty. So that's our first pinpoint of how these two films are connected. But the biggest point, since now they're linked, is what we know the leaked plot of Avengers the Kang Dynasty to be. According to a very well-respected scooper, My Time to Shine Hello, he posted this on X, otherwise known as Twitter. In this film, the TVA began gathering anchor beings from across the multiverse, believing they are the only ones powerful enough to defeat the Council of Kings. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were the anchors for their respective realities, while Tom Holland's Spider-Man served as the anchor being for Earth-616. The movie was intended to be smaller in scope compared to Secret Wars, focusing more on Holland's Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and other anchors like Nick Cage's Ghost Rider. Now, I'm pretty excited for Avengers Doomsday, but I will say that plot got me excited. But with that leak plot from a reliable source in mind, it seems like 3/5 of the main cast for Kang Dynasty were going to be the Spider-Man. So now let's look at what we're working with. The director of a cancelled multiverse movie where the leads of the movie were Spider-Man is now the director of a multiversal Spider-Man movie. I don't believe this film will show Kang as the main villain here like Kang Dynasty did for obvious reasons, but who the protagonists are and them being anchor beings may still be the plot. I know just 2 videos ago I mentioned how I don't believe anchor beings are even a thing, but it can still be used as a title, even if it has no actual value. It may end up being that they're trying to unite these anchor beings, but they realize anchor beings aren't even a real thing, and they actually don't hold a stronger power, which results in them to losing Kang Dynasty. Maybe that's what the plot was going to be leading to Avengers Secret Wars. It's very possible that anchor being, it's just a title. The same thing as the King or Queen of England at this point is more of a title today than an actual responsibility as the decision maker of England. So let's assume the same anchor bean story is used in Spider-Man 4, and different anchor beans, who instead now are all in Battleworld, need to take on a larger threat. What might this larger threat be instead of Kang? I believe the latest Venom: The Last Dance trailer might give us that answer with Knull. Knull, the god of the symbiotes, is tied to both Spider-Man and Venom through the symbiote Spider-Man once wore. Knull controls the symbiote race, including Venom, and his arrival in the multiverse, particularly in the King in Black event in comics, forces Spider-Man and Venom to confront his cosmic threat. Knull's influence spreads across the multiverse, threatening reality itself, with Spider-Man and Venom playing key roles in resisting his control. Now, why do I say he's the big bad of this movie? For one, the first time he was teased was at the end of Venom 2, where we hear Venom talk about the symbiote hive mind, which goes throughout the multiverse. And then we go on to quickly, right after that, see Tom Holland's Spider-Man on TV. For two, there's absolutely no way Knull is taken out after one movie. He's not Riot. He's not Carnage. Knull is something else that Venom cannot defeat by himself. If Venom wins in this movie and actually permanently defeats Knull, I will no longer pay to watch any of these Sony Marvel films because they keep on screwing up, and Knull is the big bad they should be leading up to, but I'm scared they'll somehow make him another one-off. Unless if this is the antagonist that finally gets Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Tom Hardy's Venom to meet in Spider-Man 4. And for 3, we're actually already hearing reports that Knull is going to be the main villain of Spider-Man 4. Matter of fact, insider reports and Geekster report this, saying the Sony Universe and MCU will merge in Spider-Man 4 with Knull as the main villain. So, I think at this point, it's becoming pretty obvious that Knull is going to be the big bad. It's going to be through the multiverse, and Spider-Man 4 is going to be that multiversal movie. So imagine this as the plot. After Avengers Doomsday, Battleworld is here. Knull, who was searching for something he needed in Venom 3 to perhaps tap into the multiverse but failed, now lives in a world where he doesn't need access to the multiverse for the full hive mind, and can access the full hive mind through this fused world known as Battleworld. He begins his reign of terror on Battleworld, but Tobey's Spider-Man, in fighting these symbiotes, recognizes them because of the event of his own Spider-Man 3. He knows what is happening but needs help to stop it, and finds his help through the only two heroes he trusts, Garfield Spider-Man and Holland Spider-Man. At the same time, Hardy's Venom is searching for Holland Spider-Man, but he's not the only one either. Also looking for Holland is a group who are trying to unite the Anchor Beans to take on Knull and Doomsday, which includes TVA members, Zendaya's MJ that we know is in this movie, and somehow I'm assuming would join this team if my theory is correct, Anchor Beans like Cage's Ghost Rider and Jackman's Wolverine, and none other than Deadpool, who isn't an Anchor Bean. But if you're pairing what was a gimmick in his own film with Anchor Beans, with Spider-Man, Deadpool, a character everybody wants to see interact with Spider-Man, is a must for this film. So we have these different groups looking for Tom Holland, and maybe even another group is Vulture, Morbius, and whoever the other Sony villains they want to throw in, since that's what the end of Morbius teased. Eventually, these different groups will come together and take on Knull. But with finding Holland Spider-Man, the team with 616's Anchor Bean can now come together to take on Doctor Doom, alongside all the other 616 characters that were waiting on this Anchor Bean to come and lead them in this fight, leading directly into the events of Avengers Secret Wars. Now, I also think this would be a perfect opportunity to bring back another Spider-Man villain that was not in Spider-Man No Way Home, Topher Grace's Venom. We know that this character exists through multiverse because we know all the symbiotes are through this hive mind. So now you can actually bring him back and have him face off against Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man again. They included a lot of villains in No Way Home, and I think it's kind of interesting they chose to not include the main villain from Spider-Man 3. Was it that they just wanted to ignore what happened in the past and they weren't a fan of that movie? Or is it actually that they have larger plans for the character, to maybe show up as an antagonistic figure on the side of Knull in the event of Spider-Man 4? Who knows? Because a lot of this is speculation, but there's a lot to base it off of also. Spider-Man 3 made boatloads of money that a grounded story or just a Spider-Man vs. Sony Sinister Six wouldn't make. Spider-Man 4 is a multiverse story directed by a director who was about to do a movie reuniting Toby, Andrew, and Tom. Sony will still want to have their Sony universe pay off in some way, which would have a perfect opportunity to be done in Spider-Man 4. Venom 3 is setting up a multiversal villain that Venom will not be able to take on by himself. Deadpool can finally have his crossover with Spider-Man. So many items off the Marvel bucket list could be checked off with this one movie, truly making this another one of Marvel's gimmick films, and one that would most definitely break $1 billion. So with that, thank you for watching this video. Please let me know down in the comments if you believe Avengers Kang Dynasty is being reworked to become Spider-Man 4, if you believe the story I wrote out could come to fruition, if you would prefer a grounded Spider-Man like my previous video, or this multiverse Spider-Man film instead. And if you're excited for the future of Marvel, we're kind of done with these gimmick films already, and would prefer more movies like Shang-Chi and Guardians 3, or honestly if you're just done with Marvel as a whole. Thanks again for watching this video, please like and subscribe, and see you all next time on Big Flick Energy.